Hi everyone, this is going to be a reading slash video reading for advice for all 12 zodiac signs for the Mercury retrograde that we now have upon us. So in the description box of this video, there'll be timestamps for each of the zodiac signs. You can go there and then see what time it is and essentially, watch the reading for your sign. Now you can watch it for your sun, your moon, your rising and your Venus sign, and you will find lots of information in each of those readings. So essentially it's going to be tips and advice as to how each zodiac sign, can deal with the retrograde and additional messages coming through. Now I did also do a Mercury retrograde video for this particular retrograde, which is also on my channel. So if you haven't seen it, I will put a link in the description box below and also in the comment section as well if you haven't seen it. So that is quite a general overview of the retrograde and how it will impact us and how you can deal with it and things you can look out for and expect. So that is one that I did pre-upload, and that was mainly when the shadow period of the retrograde had started. So it was much earlier. I don't feel as many people have seen it. So if you haven't, it will be there. You could also search for it on my channel as well if you type in Mercury retrograde. So the other thing I want to mention as well is that if you'd like to win a free reading with me, information is in the description box as usual. Private paid reading information is also down there as well as usual. And my intention bracelets are on Etsy as well. And I do actually have a Mercury retrograde intention bracelet, which is on Etsy, and I also have a normal retrograde because we have lots of retrogrades going on. So those are all on there. Thank you so much for all the love and support and all of that, and I really want to get to this reading. So I'm going to stop rambling about everything else. All the information for everything, including my Etsy shop, all the links, everything will be in the description box below. If you're on mobile, make sure you tap on the title of this video and it will automatically expand the description box. Okay, now since we're in Scorpio season and this Mercury retrograde has started properly during Scorpio season, I thought it's only fair if we start with Scorpio first. So we are going to start first and foremost with Scorpios. Alright, so let's have a look, Scorpio, and see what is the advice for you for this Mercury retrograde. So I'm going to just shuffle a little bit here with all of these cards. I've already got one. Okay, and what I'm going to do, now that it's nice and shuffled, I'm going to cut the deck and take out another 2 cards. So we are reading 3 cards. There's a lot of information in these cards, I will be very honest. Okay, so let's have a look. We have here child. We also have here house. Well, you know what? Home is actually better, I guess a better word than house, right? It's always about making things your home rather than just it being a house. But anyways, we have here house. The card is house. But when I looked at it, I just thought home. And then we also have here woman. Wow, what a message, what a message. So what I'm seeing and the advice here is to, especially with this retrograde, be proud of who you are, be proud of who you are becoming, and try not to let this retrograde annoy you or sway you off your path in any way, shape or form. We have here woman, and it really is, it's very, very, how do I say this? It gets me emotional actually, because what I'm seeing is whether you're male or female, it's about the energies in tarot. This is really about connecting to your feminine side, whether you're male or female, right? And it's about embracing yourself. It's about not getting too overwhelmed during this retrograde. The retrograde can cause a lot of havoc, a lot of, negative energy. It can really just annoy the hell out of you basically, but this is about embracing who you are and knowing that as a person you can get through things. This is about being proud of who you are and who you're becoming. We also have here house, so it says here home. See, I didn't actually look properly at the other words, but I saw house and automatically when it came out I thought home, and there we go. Second word here is home. Okay, so it says here roots, belonging, comfort, safety, family, traditions, shelter, boundaries. This is about really accepting yourself for who you are And that is very, very crucial during this retrograde. That will allow you to get through this retrograde so much more, you know, having this strong energy, you know, feeling good within yourself and who you are as a person is very, very positive. And then we also have here child. You know, this is about beginnings. It's about creativity, and it's being carefree. Now with it, of course, comes a risk. What I would say with this particular card is be aware of what's going on around you. That is something that's quite important. You know, have some boundaries, make sure you're being treated in the right way. Don't be afraid to call people out. You know, children are, in a sense, very, you know, free. If someone does them wrong, you know, children do cry, you know, they make it known. They can throw tantrums, but they make it known and they get that attention. And so what I'm essentially trying to say here is if someone does you wrong, you don't need to stay quiet about it. You can express, you can be yourself. And this is the season of you. The sun is in Scorpio. You are a Scorpio. So it's really about embracing who you are and not being stepped on. Finding comfort within yourself, finding, you know, your feminine side and embracing who you are. And it's also about, you know, being quite creative and not letting the retrograde sway you off your path. So long as you accept yourself and you put a lot of energy into you, you'll find that this retrograde will be very, very positive for you. You'll find a lot of growth throughout yourself and everything going on around you. All right, so Scorpio, that is your reading. All right, so I'm just going to put the cards back in. All right, Virgo. We are going to go to Virgo next, and we are going to have a look and see what advice we have. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shuffle a little bit, and then I'm going to cut the deck and take 3 cards, Virgo. Okay, there we go. So, 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, look at this. Right, we got King of Fire. We got some strong Aries energy coming through with the King of Fire. So it says here, essentially, this is showing that there is, you know, this energy of independence, you know, feeling quite aggressive. It's very energetic, sometimes impatient. So what I'm seeing is that the way to deal with this retrograde and the advice for you is that this retrograde can make you feel very impatient. You might find that your mind is going 100 miles per hour, you're thinking a lot about what's going on, you will feel like everything is everywhere. Things are not going right, they're not going how you want them to go. And the thing about Virgo is that they can be very, you know, specific about how things are. So this particular retrograde, what it's trying to say is instead try and work with the energy of the retrograde rather than against it, because the ruling planet of this particular card, King of Fire, is Mars. Mars is known as a planet of disruptions. Mercury, the retrograde, is also very disruptive, but it's really showing here that, you know, it can make you feel very impatient, but instead work with the energy of the retrograde rather than against it. Look at the cards that we have here. We have here clouds and tornado, right? So the advice with this is try not to get too worked up. Deal with everything that gets presented your way through this retrograde as a challenge that the universe is trying to give you to test you. Because, you know, with clouds here we have thoughts. You know, your thoughts as a Virgo, whether you're a sun, moon, rising or Venus sign Virgo, your thoughts will be all over the place. You'll be thinking of a lot of things. You'll be overthinking, perhaps criticizing or judging certain things. But remember, with a retrograde, everything gets heightened, and especially with a Mercury retrograde. So this is about, you know, really trying to clear a lot of that confusion and doing that, you know, with patience. Patience is going to be hard, but since you know that now, you can also adapt it in. See, that's the thing about tarot, is we can sort of look at how things are going to be and then we can adapt it accordingly. So it says here, thoughts, problems, doubt, you know, hesitate, unclear, confusion, misunderstandings. Now, the thing on how to deal with this is make sure you check text messages or emails before you send them, because with the Mercury retrograde, it affects travel, technology, and communication. So that is how you can really deal with that. Okay, otherwise there may be misunderstandings, just not so great energy, conflict, things like that. We also have here tornado. Okay, so this is going to be hard. This retrograde will be hard for Virgos, but so long as you take on the advice, you can actually make it less hard for you and sort of hop over some of these obstacles and challenges. So with tornado, we have here storm brewing, torn up, a sudden, unexpected end, breakdown, over and done, destroy, liberate. Okay, so I know this sounds really harsh and very, very aggressive, but you know you got the King of Fire. The King of Fire is not somebody that gives up. So do not give up through this retrograde. You got this. It is a phase, just like the moon, right? It goes through its cycles and its phases. You got this. You can get through it. Okay, try to work with the retrograde rather than against it, and also check things before you travel. Check things before you travel. Check things before you send them. Check before you travel, because there could be disruptions, delays, things like that. And just, you know, if things are breaking, for example, if your internet doesn't work or your phone breaks or something like that, try and be as patient as you can, okay? And just know that it's not you, it's the retrograde, okay? I truly mean that. I know that can sound so cheesy and like complete utter BS, but trust me, the retrograde does things in such bizarre ways, okay? So try not to blame yourself during the process of this, Virgo. Try not to obsess and analyze everything. I know that's really hard to say, but I promise you, you know, that will really be the thing that will just make you very clouded, and that will just not be a good thing. So that's what I'm seeing there. Now I'm going to move on to the next sign. All right. All right, Capricorn, we have your reading. So, advice for Capricorn. So now I'm just going to shuffle a few times. Advice for Capricorns during the Mercury retrograde. Okay, I think I've shuffled that quite well. I just do a little bit more. Now I'm going to cut the deck and take out 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so let's have a look and see Mercury retrograde advice for you. We have here Elephant, gentle. Okay, so if I show you the card first as well, it'll make more sense. We have here gentle, lucid dreams, focused power, wise, supportive, trust, telepathy, and wit. Now, whilst this retrograde is also going on, we also have a Neptune retrograde, so you will find yourself feeling very intuitive. You'll be connected a lot to your spirituality and your spiritual self. You will feel so connected to you. There will be certain things that perhaps you can't forget. Remember, elephants don't forget. And so what I am seeing is that you will feel quite delicate. At the same time, I also see is that you'll be getting a lot of very interesting dreams. Okay, and what I do also see is that this retrograde is only going to make you stronger. It is literally, quite literally supporting you, this retrograde. So trust everything that happens during this retrograde is happening for a specific reason, Capricorn. And, you know, your purpose is going to become very, very clear in divine timing. Okay, and this retrograde is helping with that. We also have Child, which is about beginnings. You know, it's very innocent. And again, you know, a lot of creativity. So you'll be finding yourself having a lot of dreams. You will find yourself feeling like a child, you know, being quite spontaneous at times as well, and feeling quite tender, you know, like children usually are. So that's what I'm seeing there. And then we've got this card which says Celtic Knot. Wow, look at that. So this one here says unconditional love, legendary, divine union, eternal love, infinity, love of a lifetime. This is very much so you, during this retrograde, finding your purpose, finding yourself, connecting to your spirituality, connecting to your inner child and who you are. This is also, for many of you, this is about love. You know, this is about connecting to someone that just makes you feel so good. And if not, you know, and if you don't connect to someone, or you're single, or, you know, you don't want anyone in your life, this is about you connecting so deep within and with yourself that you don't feel like you need anyone else around you. So again, you know, this is very, very divine. It's very, very beautiful. It's helping you to find your purpose. And so do not go against this retrograde. Take the lessons, go with the flow. You've got this. You absolutely got this, Capricorn. It is a beautiful, beautiful message. Okay, so that is your reading, Capricorn. Okay, I wish you all the very best during this crazy retrograde. So it's a crazy retrograde, right? Absolutely insane and crazy. Let me just do that. Okay, Taurus. Taurus. So, let's have a look, Taurus, and see advice for you during the Mercury retrograde. So I'm going to shuffle, okay, shuffle, 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 and then I'm going to cut the deck and take out 3 uh-oh, the cards always go everywhere. That is not, this deck is actually huge. That sounds like such an innuendo. I'm sorry, Taurus. Anyways, there we go. Much, much better. Much better shuffled. It's actually got a lot of cards. I think it's got, I can't actually remember the number, but it's a lot. I think it's 100 and something, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's 100. Oh gosh, look at me. Okay. Right, so Taurus, you are going to be connecting to your subconscious during the course of this retrograde. That's what we have here. So what's really interesting is that we have these 2 cards. One is the King of Fire, the other one is Prince of Air. So Prince of Air is very much so a Gemini energy, as we see here. And with this one, right, the ruling planet is Mercury, so we can't be much more connected than we are already connected. I mean, you know, it's really showcasing that during this period of time, you are very much so going to be very, very social. There is a social aspect that's coming through. There's also some energy of you feeling quite inquisitive through the retrograde. You might feel like you want to spy on some people. You may also feel quite superficial, or even, you know, purchasing a lot of things through the retrograde, and you're going to feel quite talkative. Okay, so that's really what's coming through, and the card actually here is the Lovers. We also have here the Emperor. Okay, so this is King of Fire. You see at the bottom here it says Emperor. So the Emperor, right, the ruling planet is Mars, and King of Fire, this is the card. So it says here, you know, independent, aggressive, active, energetic, leader, impatient. So this Mercury retrograde is going to make you feel a little bit all over the place, okay? All over the place emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically. You may find yourself becoming quite impatient. You may find yourself going out quite a lot or spending quite a lot of money. What I would suggest is, you know, try and take a little bit of rest time. Well, do I really mean that? Rest time, is that the right phrase? Essentially, think about things before you make the decision. So for example, if you want to buy something, you know, just think about it for a little while before you purchase it, because some of you may actually regret some of the things that you buy or places that you go. That's just what I'm seeing. So just take a little bit of time to think about it. Some rest time to just, you know, think about the decisions. Okay, so we've got that Aries energy and that Gemini energy. Aries energy, you know, just kind of goes for it, especially with that Emperor energy. You know, Emperor doesn't usually think too much before making decisions, so that's really what's coming through. So the advice here is just think a little bit before you make the decision. It's your choice, your free will, but I'm just telling you. And the Gemini energy here can very much so be this kind of back and forth energy. You might feel a little bit chaotic within yourself. You know, the whole Taurus energy is quite a stable energy, but can also be a stubborn energy. Combine that with a Mercury retrograde, we start going between the twins, you know, that Gemini energy. You can feel kind of all over the place, maybe indecisive. So you may make very quick decisions. It's saying here, just take a bit of time before you make those decisions, because we also have the moon here. Okay, listen to your subconscious, listen to your intuition. Most of the time, not all the time, your intuition is very spot on, but you may go through a phase where you might think, but is it? And then you might make the opposite decision. There we go. My speech during this retrograde is so all over the place, it's actually unreal. So we have here fantasy, subconscious, romance, intuition, psych, affection. We have recognition, invitation, sensuality, divine feminine. Okay, so invitation, okay, going out, being quite social, that's something that's very much so on the cards. We also have here quite a bit of romance, affection, fantasy. You're definitely going to be thinking about the bigger picture of your life. But if you find that there are obstacles and challenges that come your way during the Mercury retrograde, which I do see because things are going to be a little bit chaotic here, try not to get too overwhelmed, okay? Try not to give up on certain things, because that is not Good. Also, the retrograde is literally like cycles and phases. It comes and then it goes. It comes and it goes, just like the moon, right? Cycles and phases, cycles and phases. Do not give up, Taurus, during this time, okay? If there is something you've been trying to do and you feel like it's just not working out, do not give up through the Mercury retrograde, okay? This is not the time to give up, because it's just not, you know, the Mercury retrograde throws everything at us, and what I'm seeing here is that the advice here is to just take a breather, work, you know, through the retrograde, take major decisions after the retrograde finishes, okay? So that's big advice that I have for you here. And also, Taurus, as well, this is about, you know, don't hold back your intimacy and also your partnership needs in a relationship. You know, don't hold back those needs. You can very much so express and communicate that across to, you know, the other person or someone else out there. If you're single, this is about you having boundaries and knowing exactly how you want to be treated, your desires, your wishes, your fantasies, you know, and things that you want romantically. It's about thinking about that, and I do feel that you will be dreaming a lot about that as well. But it's good because you're actually addressing, you know, what it is that suits you as well. Okay, so that's what we have for Taurus. Alright, Aries, let's have a look and see. Okay, retrograde, Mercury retrograde advice for you, Aries. Aries. Just doing a bit of shuffling. Some of the cards will really want to come out, but what I'm doing is I'm shuffling and then I'm going to cut the deck and take 3 cards out like I've done with all the other readings so far. Okay. There's a lot of cards in this particular one. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to cut. We got clock, snake. This is insane. We've got a lot of repeating cards coming through, and the amount of cards that we actually have in this deck is unbelievable. So repeating cards mean that those energies are so strongly tied to the retrograde. So make sure you do check out your Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus signs for this reading. Highly recommend that. So clock, right? Gemini. Oh, yeah. So let's start first of all with Gemini. Okay, so Aries. Okay, you're an Aries, but we do have this Gemini card, which is the Lovers. I just felt like, you know what, we should probably start with this Gemini energy that's coming through. So this is about, you know, do not be afraid to dig a little bit deeper into things, okay? Whatever it is, take it as it resonates, because what I'm seeing here is that we've got the Lovers, and this is ruled by Mercury, if you can see it right there, ruling planet Mercury. Okay, so do not be afraid to dig a little bit deeper into things. You're really going to find, especially with love, you will find some very interesting things. You will also find that the retrograde may bring certain people back into your life, and it's up to you as to whether, you know, you want that or not, or whether you continue talking or whatever. That's completely your choice, completely your decision. But what I am seeing is it will, and if you're single, I see things brewing, things manifesting in terms of love for you. Okay, so it says here talkative, adaptable, mental, intellectual, social, versatile, responsible, oh god, I can't even speak, responsive, changeable, witty, inquisitive, flexible, and superficial. Okay, so that's what we have there. So I definitely do feel like there can be this potential of somebody coming in and very much so wanting to manifest things with you because of this Lovers energy that we have, and this Gemini energy, considering, you know, the ruling planet is literally Mercury. So I hope you can see just how well cards can very much so connect to the situation that we are also in. We also have here clock, so it says here perfect timing, longevity, the past, lifetime, origin, time passes, test of time, make time, and that last one, which is eventually. Okay, so something seems to be the right time here. And what I would say, Aries, is that I really do feel that it's okay to, you know, it's really okay to dig deeper, because I feel like you're going to be finding out maybe something, you know, it could be a hidden secret or something, because there's definitely something here that you would find out. I can't even get the card. The snake card is literally being a snake. The snake, okay, so it says here deception, jealousy, betrayal, backstab, toxic, silent treatment, seduction, oh my god. Oh, my speech is so bad in this. Oh my god, we haven't even like properly started the retrograde. I mean, we have, but this is like the first day of it. And sexuality. So, what I am seeing is, you know, this really is about you shedding your old self and then being able to progress further. I'm so sorry, that was my phone going off. It really never does. That's why sometimes I keep it on the table. But anyways, so that's really what I'm seeing here. You know, this is about shedding, you know, the past and really living in the present. You may also find that you perhaps get into conflict, or, you know, there is gossip or something like that, you know, surrounding you during this time. It's very common during the Mercury retrograde that can happen, so you may find that there are certain people being quite snakish out there. What I would suggest is that you just adapt the phrase of, it's not me, it's the Mercury retrograde, and progress forward. If you try and stop and think too much about, you know, what's being said, it's just not worth your energy. What I would say, however, it's good to dig a little bit deeper into things sometimes, so please take that as it resonates. On one hand, I feel like there's definitely something that you could dig a little bit deeper on, which will give you a lot of meaning, a lot of answers, but I also feel at the same time, if there's gossip or anything like that, keep moving, okay? Keep moving. It's not worth your time or energy. So those two things, you will know the difference between those two things when you come to it, okay? Whether you should dig deeper or let it go. But that's really what I'm seeing, is that this retrograde will be all over the place for you. But at the same time, do not give up. Live your life with this retrograde and, well, work with it rather than against it, okay? This is happening for a specific reason, you know, and it is really testing you, and it's, you know, a cycle and phase. Like I've been saying in so many of my readings, Mercury retrograde is a cycle and phase, you know, it comes and it goes, comes and it goes. It's also testing us. So just know that regardless of challenges, obstacles, and things like that, you will prevail. Is that the right phrase? You will prevail? You will get through it. You will get through it. Okay, so there we go, Aries. This is your reading. Now I'm going to move on to the next one, which is that's obviously not staying. Leo. This is your reading for advice for the Mercury retrograde. So I'm just going to shuffle a few times. Okay, so I'm going to cut the deck and take out 3 cards. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. Ooh, wow. Wow. I like what I'm seeing here. And you know what this is? You know what this is, Leo? Trust your intuition and do not let your insecurities, okay, feed you in a way where, well, essentially don't let, how can I say this in the best way possible? Don't let your insecurities get the best of you, and trust your intuition, because we have this Pisces energy, which is all about intuition, right? It's about our feelings, our emotions, our expressions, ourselves. So this is about following our gut and our intuition, and the ruling planet here is Neptune. And throughout the course of this retrograde, Mercury retrograde should I say, we also have the Neptune retrograde. Neptune retrograde is all to do with intuition and clarity. It's about our spirituality, you know, people, places, things that we are connected to spiritually. So you will find yourself really awakening and feeling very clear and connecting to your inner self. Do not push that aside, you know, because that is such an important part of you connecting to yourself, which is very important. So we have here the words intuitive, right? You'll feel very intuitive during this time. We also have dreamy, artistic, compassionate. So you're really going to be connecting with yourself on so many levels. You may feel very creative. You may feel like you're just dreaming and dreaming some really incredible things. You'll feel quite sympathetic, right? You're really connecting to your emotions and yourself. Tender, humane, sensitive, impressionable, and perceptive. So that's what we have there. And you know what the card is? It's the moon. Okay, so you will really be connecting to yourself. We also have here lighthouse. So it says here, warning, be aware, make a detour. So it says vigilance, obstacle to avoid, guide, use tact and diplomacy. Yeah, be diplomatic, basically. Okay, so lighthouse, right? Essentially, of course, it's showing you that the Mercury retrograde is going to be difficult. You know, it can affect communication, travel, and technology in your life, but try not to get too overwhelmed. Try not to. I know that sounds really difficult, but try not to get too overwhelmed by this retrograde. You will very much so be able to get through it, and you will be able to progress through it. I know it says obstacle to avoid. We can't avoid the retrograde, but what you can avoid is additional conflict, you know, and challenges. Use tact. Be a bit more diplomatic throughout the course of this retrograde, and you will find yourself feeling so much better as well. We also have here bouquet. Ooh, look at that bouquet. I love flowers. If anyone wants to send me some, you're more than welcome. My PO box is down below. I'm just joking. But it says here, happy, harmony, beauty, creative, a gift, art, warmth, contentment, reconciliation, and love. So it's very possible that through this retrograde you may find love, or you may have a past lover come back into your life. You may be gifted something. You may find something very unexpected in a very positive way. So there is a silver lining in this where, yes, it's showing the retrograde can be quite difficult, but it's also showing, you know, trust yourself. Trust yourself and your intuition. Very, very important. And there is, you know, something really beautiful in terms of love that I am seeing in this particular reading. So something that is beautiful, something that is exciting, and, you know, yes, you know, the lighthouse in many ways is a blessing, right? The lighthouses are not like negative things, but of course, you know, this retrograde will be all over the place like it is just in general for everyone, right? Because it causes a lot of chaos, but at the same time, there is light that we can see with this particular reading. It's not all that bad, right? So definitely do trust your intuition. Don't let your insecurities get the best of you, and just know that this is a cycle and phase. You'll be able to get through it, just like the moon is a cycle, you know, goes through its cycles and phases. The retrograde also comes and goes. I feel like that's such a repeating thing that I've been saying in so many of the readings, but it's so true. Alright, so Leo, that's your reading. Now we're going to move on to, wait for it, Sagittarius. This is your reading for advice for the Mercury retrograde. There we go. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to shuffle these cards. They keep all flipping over, but there's so many cards, so I like doing it this way. See? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place it there, and then I'm going to cut the deck and take 3 cards out, like I've done for all of the other readings. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Ooh, wow, repeating cards. You know, this deck has so many cards in it, and the fact that we keep getting repeating cards, I think, is just a sign as to how well everything is connecting. Okay, so Sagittarius, the big message for you here is do not feel bad for putting energy, focus, time, love, and dedication into yourself. Do not dare feel bad about that, because it's not a bad thing, okay? There's a difference between loving yourself and there's a difference between ego, okay? Do not feel bad about loving yourself, giving yourself time, and putting a lot of energy into you. It is important, okay? So we have here raccoon. Look at that raccoon. It says here problem solver, curious, ask questions, adaptive, creative, entrepreneur, resourceful, clever. Okay, so this is about you. This is about you being very resourceful throughout the Mercury retrograde. And whatever the Mercury retrograde throws at you, you will handle it like a pro Sagittarius. You totally got this. And you will very much so, you know, especially when the retrograde ends as well, it will be Sagittarius season. So you are going to be on it. You are going to very much so feel like, you know what, you can conquer anything. It's a nice energy. You will feel like you just want to be a problem solver, and any problems that you have through the retrograde, you will find a solution to that problem. For sure, you know, so that's really what I'm seeing, is you're going to be very adaptive, and you're going to feel very, very good and very resourceful as well. You may also feel that you're very creative, you want to go on an adventure. Again, just be aware, you know, we do have the retrograde, so you can have delays and problems and, you know, things getting cancelled, things like that, but you are a problem solver. Regardless of what happens, you will find a solution to your problem, and I like that. I really do like that. Okay, so we also have here house. So it says here home, belonging, roots, comfort, safety, family, traditions, buildings, shelter, boundaries. So again, this is about you feeling very, very safe within yourself, right? Within your home, wherever you are, within your own shell, right? Your body, feeling really, really good. Do not be afraid to take some time for yourself during the retrograde. Don't be afraid, you know. We also have here bouquet, which says here happy, harmony, beauty, creative again coming through. A gift, art, warmth, contentment, reconciliation, and love. So there's something really beautiful, warm and fuzzy about this particular energy that I'm seeing. I'm really seeing that, again, you know, take time and energy for yourself, you know, self-love. It's very possible also during this time that you may have love manifest in your life if you haven't already got that. And I am also seeing as well this just sense of you feeling so powerful and strong in your own energy, and this will conquer that retrograde. I was going to click like this, but I completely messed it up. Anyways, so that's what I'm seeing, Sagittarius. This is so, so incredible, because it just shows you want to get on top of it, and you will. You got power, Sagittarius. You got power. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next one. Let's have a little look. Okay, so that's your reading. Okay, I'm now going to just shuffle, actually. Let me just shuffle a little bit. Alright, Gemini, this is going to be your reading. Okay, for advice for the Mercury Retrograde. So I'm just going to shuffle a little bit more. And I am going to cut the deck and take out 3 cards, Gemini, for some advice for the retrograde. We keep getting repeating cards, and I just feel like this is so well connected, you know, to the energies of the retrograde. So we've got here the Chariot. Okay, so Chariot is actually ruled by Cancer, as you can see, this Cancerian energy, and also cardinal sign of water, right? And the ruling planet is the moon. So you will feel very, very intuitive, and this is about focusing on what matters to you, which brings joy. So focus on the things that bring you joy, because I'm really seeing that that will just uplift you, make you feel really good, make you feel happy, as I'm literally losing my voice. Okay, so it says here, gentle, conservative, feeling, nurturing, defensive, complex, resist change, self-protective, contemplative, sentimental. So the retrograde, of course, is bringing shifts and changes, and you may feel quite resistant to those shifts and changes, but what I would suggest is please go with the energy of it rather than against it. It will make it emotionally much easier for you, and you'll be able to progress, like the Chariot, in a much better direction. You will feel much more confident, much more stronger in the way that you go about that. Okay, try not to resist it. We've also got here bouquet, which says here happy, harmony, beauty, creative, a gift, art, warmth, contentment, reconciliation, and love. So bouquet. Okay, this shows that actually this retrograde is a gift. It is testing you, challenging you, but also bringing great things into your life. It is truly, truly a blessing in disguise. It is going to allow you to feel so much more connected to yourself. It's going to allow you to not resist change as much. That's what I'm seeing, okay? Because retrogrades keep coming in and they keep going, you know, just like the moon, cycles and phases. I mean, the moon goes through cycles and phases, but the retrograde keeps coming and going, coming and going. So you're going to very much so If you're someone that resists change, you're going to be much more accepting of change as well. Also, I'm seeing love can manifest throughout the course of the retrograde. And the real advice here for you, is, take back control, of things that matter, like work routines and things that perhaps you haven't been able to get on top of. It's a really good time to do that. And of course, your health as well. That's really coming through. Nurturing yourself is very important here. Literally watering yourself with this Cancerian energy. Gemini is quite important. Okay, so we have here Clover, which says luck, happy coincidence, reward, good fortune, unexpected, rendezvous, carefree, a fling, and flirt. So again, I do see that love can very much so manifest, bloom, and grow throughout the course of the retrograde. Ooh, look at you, Cancer, right? So definitely don't go against this retrograde. Go with the flow. It's very, very common that, love can manifest during the Mercury retrograde. It's very, very common. Okay, and you will feel like this is a blessing. I mean, just look at this, right? You will feel like it's a blessing that is just for you. So that is what I'm seeing for you, Gemini. And now we are going to move on to Libra. All right. So Libra, let's have a look and see what advice we have for you during the Mercury retrograde. So I'm just going to shuffle, 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 shuffle. Okay, and then I'm going to cut the deck and take 4 cards. Okay. So 1, 2, already picked like 2 bits up, so I'm going to do it like this. Did I say 4 cards? I meant 3 cards. Taking 3 cards. That's what I've done throughout the whole reading so far. That's what I meant. Okay. Even the retrograde is just messing with me, I feel. You know that common phrase. It wasn't me, it was the retrograde. Okay. Well, it can't always be the retrograde. But what we have for you, Libra, is this big message of do not doubt your self-worth. Okay, we have here the Hierophant. Okay, if you look down here, it actually does say the card. And then we have this Taurian or Taurus energy coming through. Do not doubt yourself through this retrograde. I mean, it's very normal to doubt ourselves, but what it is, really showing here is that, the ruling planet is Venus. So it's about having a lot of love towards ourselves, accepting ourselves the way we are. Now, of course, it has all of the traits of a Taurus, which does say stable, stubborn, possessive, persevering, down to earth, physical, sensual, strong, prosperous, and dependable. But what it is also saying is that this energy is very much so your kind of energy, accepting yourself, and finding that inner stability. It's also about not doubting your worth. Sometimes you have to be stubborn, to be like, what, this is how I am. This is just how I am, and I'm okay with the way I am. And some people might think that's stubborn, but stubborn, but it's actually you being stable. That's the thing. Okay, so there we go. We also have here, so essentially the advice here is, Libra, do not doubt your worth. So we have here geese, and it says here on a quest. It says migration, relocation, dependable, know where you are going. Okay, and faithful. Cyclical. I believe that's the word. I'm so sorry if I've said it wrong. But essentially, right, this is about knowing your path, knowing who you are. There's also this phrase of relocation. It may be that some of you are, but again, it doesn't have to be that you are. What I am seeing specifically is with this retrograde, you will feel like you're going places. You'll feel like you're making moves. You'll feel like you are progressing. You're becoming a stronger person. And that is part of the stability that I'm seeing within you. We also have here birds. It says here communicate, negotiate, chatter, debate, discuss, flighty, nervous, ADHD, text, call, contact. Now, during the retrograde, communication can really pick up. Well, Mercury retrograde, communication can really pick up. So that's something that I'm seeing quite strong. It's okay to have debates, things can get heated during a retrograde, but what I'm seeing for you, Libra, is actually it's a very good thing, because the thing is, Libra is known naturally as a sign of, you know, really good communication, a lot of balance, and, you know, really weighing up, you know, pros and cons, and, you know, being quite good with that, being quite diplomatic. So actually, you know, this retrograde really does favor you in that way. So don't be afraid to, you know, communicate and just be you, you know, be you. That is the most important thing. That's really going to help you get through the retrograde. Okay, so this is you taking flight, quite literally, and feeling a sense of freedom and not giving up on yourself, which actually is very, very important. So that is your reading, Libra. And now I'm going to move on to Aquarius. Okay, so Aquarius, we have your reading, advice for you during this Mercury retrograde. So I'm going to start by, cards already want to get away from me. They're like, no, we don't want to be a part of this. I'm just kidding. So I'm going to start just by shuffling all of these cards. There's actually a lot of cards. Oh, wow. They really don't want to. There's a lot of cards in this particular deck, so I'm just shuffling, and then I'm going to cut the cards and take 3 cards for the reading. So cutting, and then we've got 1, 2, and 3. Aquarius. Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. So the message here is, it's okay if you're not exactly where you want to be, okay? It's okay. Do not beat yourself up if you're not in the place that you want to be at this very point in time, because things shift, energy shifts, everything changes. I mean, things change on a second-by-second basis. So imagine years, you know, or months or weeks. Things change. So if you're not exactly where you want to be right now, do not panic. Do not worry. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so we have here some very interesting cards. Now hear me out on this, because you might think, oh my god, that's so negative. Sometimes these things actually help us to grow stronger, to feel much better, things like that. Okay, so we have here third person. Okay, now you might be thinking, is it about a love triangle or a third person or a third, you know, third party situation? Now it can be, but it can also be in terms of like friendships, right? Where you feel like you're a really close friend to, you know, with someone, and then another person shows up and it feels like, oh, they're taking all my time. Or it can be at work where you're getting really well, you know, getting on really well with something, you know, it can be a project or a person, and then another person shows up and kind of takes your shine. And, you know, it's something like that, you know, along the lines is what I'm seeing. Not just in regards to love. Just in general, it can be a third person. So it says here, another person involved, someone else's influence, outside party, rival, okay, rival, so rivalry. So it can be love, and then it also says here stranger. So it can be that someone tries to steal your shine, take something, you know, away from you in that sense. What I would say is, you got to persevere, okay? You got to get through this. You will get through this. And that's really what I'm seeing here. Specific you, oh my gosh, wow, my speech is all over the place. Specifically, Aquarius, is it okay, if things like this happen, because it's testing you, okay? The other thing is, if you're in a third party situation, you kind of have to weigh it out, how you want to weigh it out. You might find out about it, it might make you feel really, really bad. It's your choice as to whether you want to stay or go. I always say, make sure you know your worth, make sure, you know, you believe in yourself, and you are getting what you deserve. That's very, very important. But I also do see here, you know, that there is a possibility here for arguments. So we have the whip, which says arguments, fighting, you know, anger. It's just, I mean, read all of these phrases, okay, because some of them may resonate with you and some of them may not. But what I'm essentially seeing is that, yes, there can be a third party situation in regards to love, but also it can just be another person that's just trying to disrupt and get into your way. This is classic Mercury retrograde, okay? Classic Mercury retrograde. Before making any harsh decisions, get out of the retrograde. That's what I would highly suggest. That's my biggest piece of advice for you. Okay, we also have here Falcon. This is, did I just say Falcon? Oh my god. Falcon. No. It says here, rising above, ability, strategy, skill, focus, a transition, changes, higher self, and third eye. So this is about the third eye. So the chakra, right? Third eye chakra. This is about, you know, trying to see in a much more intuitive way, reading between the lines and rising above anything that is going on here, because you will rise above it. It's okay if you're not where you want to be during this retrograde, because I'm seeing that things will change. You will feel a sense of freedom. You will feel much better. That's what I'm seeing for you, Aquarius. And things will change, okay? Focus on what you want to change. Use the law of attraction. Even during a Mercury retrograde where things are all over the place and very chaotic, you will rise above things. You will feel much better. And I can promise you that, okay? So that's really what I'm seeing. You know, there can be some arguments, but also if you're going to make big decisions, okay, really big decisions, it's best to do them after the retrograde. That's just a bit of advice that I am giving you. That's not me trying to say you should never make a big decision during a retrograde. These are more so decisions that include cutting out certain people, or, you know, vowing never to talk to someone again, or bringing up a huge argument. Things can just get magnified 10 times worse, you know, especially with other people during a retrograde. So just try and be diplomatic, but also do stand up for yourself. That's quite important as well. But you know, things like that, especially things that you could regret later on, it's best to keep those decisions until after the retrograde and then, you know, have those conversations. It's just a little bit of advice, but that's what I'm seeing, Aquarius. It's okay if you're not exactly where you want to be, because one day you will be. All right? So that's your reading, Aquarius. Now we're going to move on to, let me just put that there, Pisces. Sorry, I know that was a little bit, it was a bit much, right? Pisces, this is going to be your advice for the Mercury retrograde. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle. Okay, well, isn't that really interesting? We've literally got 3 cards, and I usually shuffle them, and then I cut the deck and take 3 cards, and we've literally got 3 cards. Wow, we're going to take that. We are going to take that. Okay, so 3 cards that we have here for you, Pisces, as advice for the Mercury retrograde. I mean, I'm really seeing here that, you know, trusting your intuition is a wonderful, wonderful thing, okay, because we've got here wine. So it says here, developing over time, right? Fine wine, it just gets better with time. Flavor, family legacy, it says here the good stuff, finesse, ripening, and ages well. So things are only going to get better for you, okay? Mercury retrograde is also just allowing things to get better and better for you. You know how sometimes we have setbacks, but then it also pushes us forward. It's like one of those, what is it, a catapult, right? It pulls you back, but then it just launches you even further. So you may find that things in the retrograde are pulling you back, but trust me, they're going to catapult you forward so much. You're going to be like, whoa, Moonlight, what happened there? And then, you know, you can email me and tell me all about it. I'd love to know. So we've got that, right? We've also got here stalemate, and it says stand off. It also says no way out, non-committal, hold out, delay tactics, blocked, or refusing to compromise, okay? So if you're blocked in terms of love, okay, just know that this is a step back. It is the catapult being pulled back, right? And then it will launch forward. So the retrograde is like a test in many ways, but it's also showing that there will be progression. There will be things that move forward. It will get better, I promise. I know it sounds like it probably won't, but it really will. That's what I'm seeing. Things will get better with time for you. They will. Trust your intuition, trust your gut, and more importantly, believe in yourself. I know that sounded really strange when I said that. I was like, believe in yourself. Really, really do believe in yourself. You've got the power to do so. So please do it. Definitely, yeah, do believe in yourself. And then we've also got this card here, which is balance. I love this card so much. So much. Words cannot describe, because it says here balance, it says here centered, meditate, awareness, just right, equality, well-being, and feeling complete. So this is about you really tapping into yourself, right? Things will get better in time. Okay, the retrograde can make you feel crazy. It can make you feel like things are just really stale and stagnant and not great, but know that things will get better with time. Also, a really good time for you, this is where the advice bit also, I guess, comes in. Meditation, yoga, journaling, any form of mindfulness. You can actually Google this, you know, because so many forms of mindfulness. Any form of mindfulness that makes you feel present on the current moment is really, really good for you during a retrograde, because it just really centers you, it helps you feel more balanced, it allows your chakras to be much more aligned, and it just gives you more of an awareness, right? And trusting yourself, feeling much more connected to your intuition and yourself, which I think is a sense of you feeling so complete and so good, you know, welcoming yourself to what's going on in the here and now without worrying too much about the future. Okay, so just know that in time things will get well, but things will go well, but also in the current time, you know, it's really about, you know, yes, things can be a bit stagnant, a bit like here and there, but things are going to get better. And I think the more you focus on mindfulness and just accepting how things are, you will start to also feel better within yourself in the current moment. So this is how you can deal with the current moment, but this is giving us advice on also the future, that things are going to be okay, just for the back of your mind. Try not to be too dependent on what you think about the future. Try and also focus a lot more on the present, you know, regardless of this happening, you can counteract it and balance it with this energy. You know, meditation, I think, is one of the best things. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day makes a huge difference. Really does. Really, really does. Okay, so Pisces, that is your reading. And now I'm going to move on to Cancer. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle it once I do my little announcement. Alright, so Cancerians, this is your reading. I'm going to do that again, actually. Take 2. Alright, so Cancer, this is your reading for advice on the Mercury Retrograde. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these cards, and then I'm going to cut the deck and take 3 of those cards for your reading. Okay. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so Cancer, let's have a look, okay. Let's see what the message here is. Oh my gosh, repeating cards again. Okay, so the big message that we do have here is the Emperor, you know. So if you look down here, it actually says which card it is, and then it of course says it here, King of Fire. The ruling planet is Mars for this particular card, and what I do see here is there's this very independent, aggressive energy that can kick through the Mercury retrograde. What I would also say for you, the big message and the piece of advice is focus on what matters to you and what brings you joy. Try not to get too worried throughout the course of a retrograde. It can throw you into so many different directions, might not make you feel so great, might make you feel all over the place or sad, or unhappy, but it's really important to know that there's a retrograde going on, that energy can be all over the place, it can make you go insane, make you go crazy, but it's important also at the same time to know that it will be okay, you know. You will get out of this retrograde, you will feel much, much better. We also do have here Snake. Okay, so Snake here is showing deception, jealousy, betrayal, you know, this kind of energy that can be very, very toxic. But what I'm also seeing for you as well is make sure you're not constantly focusing on things that are toxic. Make sure you're also taking a step back and focusing on things that are going well, because in the retrograde you will, you know, negativity can just attract negativity. One thing going wrong can just make you feel down, you know, emotionally. So it's about making sure you can stand up and be like, okay, you know what, those 3 things went wrong, but you know what, this today went right. So that's about, you know, focusing on the positivity. I know it sounds really cliche when people are like, you need to, you know, really be grateful for having a roof over your head, for example, and things like that. But no, doing that during a retrograde can definitely make you feel so much better. I'm not even kidding you. When things start going wrong, you know, for example, your Wi-Fi might stop working, or you might find that you get delayed whilst you're traveling or something like that, you know. just counting your blessings during that time can make you feel so much better. Negativity can really attract negativity during a retrograde. So that's, find joy and try and find joy in things, basically. Then we've got here Tower. So it says here guidance, government, hierarchy, corporate, experience, institutions, and also stand alone. Okay, so this is about finding power within yourself, which I think is very, very important. I also feel like the retrograde is really telling you that you have got power. You can do things, you can do things alone. You have so much that you can do, but it's also here showing that, in terms of career and in terms of, things that you might want to get done, perhaps legal documents, things like that. During the retrograde, things can get a little bit pushed back, so just be a little bit aware of that. Got this Tower energy, which is things can just be, completely shaken up, turned upside down, and then handed to you on a plate. And what you can do when you get that plate is think, okay, everything just got torn up and shaken upside down, but at least I still have a plate. You see? So it's really about thinking about the positive and finding joy throughout the course of the retrograde, and knowing that it will end. Okay, and yes, they come and go, but it's about working with the energy rather than against it. But yes, that is really what I am seeing here. Okay, you may find that, there's jealousy that might occur, things that get toxic, but I also feel like once you come out of the retrograde, things will get much better anyways. It's just that things get very heightened emotionally during a retrograde. But what I am seeing is that you have so much power. There's this independent energy, okay, there's this leadership energy that you're going to be feeling, which can really take you from place to place. So you have power during this retrograde, and it's what you do with it that matters. Alright, so Cancer, this is your reading, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you did, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Don't forget to comment down below, and hope you have a lovely day or night. And this is also me ending this video since I've gone through all of the star signs, and I hope you all have a lovely day or night wherever you are, whenever you're watching this. Take care, everyone. Bye!